Your halftime entertainment, we celebrate the 43-year reign of the Speed Metal Kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Welcome back to another Thursday evening preview and prediction show. Auburn and Ball State is game 2. We're going to talk about it, preview, predict all different aspects of this game, leading to a more well-informed, well-rounded score prediction, and you're going to have a big hand in picking all those different things. Let's get into it right now. War Eagle, and welcome to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk, share, discuss the Auburn experience, which is all about a few things: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. Say it with me. If it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing today in our live preview of Auburn versus Ball State, game 2 of 2025, and the first official home game of the 2025 season. I am so excited to be back on the plains this weekend. More coming up on that at the end of the show. But we have a lot to do tonight, a lot to discuss, a lot to predict, as you know, on Thursday nights we do for the upcoming game for Auburn football. But before we get in that, I want to encourage you, as always, to make sure that you are smashing that like button. You are hitting the share button. You are letting us know that you're here. Whatever you can do to interact right now to get the chat going off on a good note. It's also a good way to go ahead and get those typing fingers ready so that you know how to get ready to respond and give your takes on the different aspects of this. This is an interactive show, so we definitely want to hear from you and want to know who's here this evening hanging out with us to talk about Auburn versus Ball State. So here's the agenda this evening. We're going to actually do this a little different, not necessarily order-wise. We're going to kind of quicken the pace up, and we might even make this show a little less than an hour, typically what it is. I will try to leave some room at the end for some Q&A time, but our goal here is this, is just to get you in here, get you out in a appropriate amount of time with a preview and some participatory predictions of offense, defense, special teams, other things as well. And hopefully you walk away from here feeling like I just learned how to make a score prediction that's got a little bit more thought to it, other than just throwing out, I think that it's going to be 21-0 Auburn, or 50-0 Auburn, or for the ridiculous people out there, 100-0. I've actually seen somebody say 70-0 Auburn, which it could be. I'm going to be honest with you, it could be. If you need some resources to be a little bit more well-rounded on this, I was on the podcast, Ball State of the Union. I enjoyed my time with them. They also gave me an opportunity to ask them some questions. We have that other side of the conversation, as I always call it, on our YouTube channel as well. So make sure you watch that. Make sure you watch the College Football 26 simulation. All of that is available for you now. But we're going to try to give you some facts here very quickly, very briefly at the start, things that you need to know before we start predicting here. I want to welcome all of you that are in here. By the way, can we all just give Hunter a little bit of crap? He thought he was live watching a live stream earlier this week, and I literally watched it happen in the comments live. Sorry, Mike. I was going to pick on Micah next, but Hunter, we gotta let you have a little bit of crap from us today, because that was pretty funny to watch. Robert's here. We have got Micah in the house. Good to see you. Greg is here. Who else? I saw a bunch. Corey said hey to Robert. Anybody else? Mason. Good to see all of you guys this evening. So thank you so much for showing up early and ready to go and get going. So you can offer comments and questions throughout. We'll take more of those at the end, but really we're going to get in the we are going to have you participate more here in just a few minutes, about maybe 5 more minutes of us talking about the preview and prediction aspect of this thing. All right. So what I've got right here, it's over here, Kyle. It's actually correct this time. Like I've got it on the correct side of the screen, and I can actually look over here to my screen. It looks like I'm looking at the thing on the screen. Anyway, curtain pulled back for you all. So this is something, once again, that you can find on Auburn's website. and utilize yourself if you'd like to. This is a shortened version of it. It is a long 30, maybe 50-page PDF of lots of information about Auburn, lots of information about the matchup, and I've just taken away the three most important aspects of this that I'm going to give you, and then we'll definitely talk about some of the questions that you guys are asking. Y'all know how to greet Devin. Get it done. All right, Auburn versus Ball State. Game is played at 6:30 in Jordan-Hare Stadium for the first time. First home game for Auburn. It's going to be on ESPNU. You know the drill if you want to consume it on the radio. Andy Burcham and co. and all of their great folks, Jason Campbell, are going to be bringing you the broadcast on that. So however you'd like to consume that. I've seen a lot of people that say they don't have ESPNU in their package anymore, in their TV package. I'm kind of shocked at that. I think most traditional ones have it in that. So maybe there's a few people that are going to be consuming it through just radio, which, to be honest, these days, most people say I tune it to the radio or set the radio correctly to the TV broadcast so I can hear Andy's voice and everybody else's commentary, and not people like Robert Griffin III like last week. I don't think we're going to get a Ball State alum or great player on this particular one. Can't really name one. Sorry about that. I was wondering if our Ball State guys would come in and pop into this chat. We might see them. I don't know. I invited them here if they'd like to be. Obviously, you can read through all of this. If you want to pause the screen, come back to it later on. This is here for you, just for your information, just to get all the different things out. We're not going to run through all of that. Auburn's not ranked. Ball State's not ranked. This is supposed to be a game where Auburn is supposed to wax every bit of Ball State. Will they? That's the big question, right? We got to take care of business. We've seen scary things in the past that have transpired and been very, very frustrating at times to watch. A lot of elements around this game. The first home game, all the pyrotechnics, all the new display stuff. There's a lot that people are going to be enjoying. The North End Zone video board, Pat Dye appreciation game. You've got the Final Four ring presentation for the basketball team at this game. We have got so much jam-packed into this evening, and I am going to be absolutely exhausted by the end of this thing. So y'all, if you can come to this one, by the way, as of this moment, I still have an extra ticket. If somebody wants to buy it for a reasonable price, let me know. We've got a little one that came extra to us that we've had in our possession here. But anyway, that's as of this evening here. Let's see here. Let me pull you guys up to the next page just for your information purposes if you want it. This is the depth chart as it is listed. Once again, I will always tell you that depth charts under Hugh Freeze are, subject to change. It's not that he doesn't believe in them. He just doesn't like to think that you have to stick to these things. That's why there's a lot of or situations. As far as I can tell, looking at it, there are no new things on here. There are just the same thing here, but there have been some questions that have already been asked about what some injury situations, updates. Mason asked, when is Alston going to be back? We don't know that, but he is out for this game, according to the reports out of practice today. Not a shock because he did bang up that shoulder in the game, and what a game it was versus Ball State. So just look through that if you need to. That's the depth chart, all of that kind of stuff. You need to learn how to pronounce certain names or choose not to pronounce them correctly like me. There you go. All right, last one we want to show you here with our last bit of time before we get rolling in the predictions part of this show. If you look through here, it talks about the last time we met up with Ball State, which was in 2009. So over a decade, well over a decade now, a decade and 6 years. Yeah. Look, I did math correctly on the show live. It's a miracle. We're going to have a good game if that's happening here. But if you want to look at the matchup in and of itself based off of just one game, look no further than down below in this thing down here. I don't know why I'm pointing on the screen. Bottom right corner of that document, it gives you the stats as of this season. Once again, skewed towards one game, so it's not indicative of the rest of the year, how everybody's going to be. But Ball State didn't score any points against Purdue. They got absolutely destroyed by Purdue. So theirs are going to be pretty abysmal, but you can get a look at Auburn's stats, points per game, points they've given up per game, only one game, first downs, rushing yards, passing yards, total offense, time of possession. All of that was in Auburn's favor last game. Ball State, boy, it's a struggle. Rushing per game, they got 116 and then 57 passing yards. So it looks like they're going to be more of a rushing style team at least based off what we could take of. And what is becoming my favorite thing to look at is who are our tackling leaders. Kieron Crawford got off to a great start with him leading that way. And then Xavier Atkins, with that SEC experience that he already has had, is right behind him as well. So gives you a look at some of, is that Steiner on that? Hold on a second. I got to pull this over here where I can see this a little better. No, Stimler. I thought that was Steiner. I was like, he's not playing anymore, is he? And that was a former Auburn person. Anyway, so there you go. I know it's not the information necessarily that you think you need because everyone is planning on this one being well in hand, but at least you have some information to go off of on that. Any comments or questions on that? We're going to get to the predictions here in just 1 minute. Let's see what you guys got here. It's good to see some of these players have their name pronunciations spelled out for everyone else. Respect to AU. Yes, some of them can be mature and handle it. I cannot. Corey already with one prediction. Ball State won't even get to the 50-yard line this game. Let me give you kind of my overarching take on how the game should, in my mind, proceed. This is a game Auburn should win. This is a game Auburn should put under its control very quickly. And if that does happen, that means that we're going to be rotating in bodies very quickly, which means the further down you get the depth chart, the more mistakes that are going to happen, the more chances are going to be taken because people are excited about their opportunity to play against a ginormous crowd at Jordan-Hare Stadium. So with that comes more opportunities for Ball State, who I'm sure will be playing, for the most part, their first string for a while, at least those that they don't want to run the risk of hurting or anything like that. So I think they will score some points at some point. It's just a matter of, when it'll happen and when our backups are in. 50 yards in rushing, that is. So he says he won't get past 50, but maybe get past the 50 at all either. Ball State's quarterback had 22 carries. We do have one more thing I want to bring up. I did forget about this, so let me pull that up onto the screen right now for everybody. I guess I got to get rid of that. Before presenting the screen, remove the media. Oh, that's why. Sorry. I was wondering what was going on there. Let me make this a little bit bigger for everybody so you can see it on the screen. This is the ESPN look right here. And you can see a little bit of that. There we go. 98%. I mean, obviously, there's your leaders for each team. Kelly, their quarterback, he did well in the simulation. And then Jackson on receiving. Kelly's their leading receiver. 1 sack for Voorhis is how it's pronounced. I learned that from the Ball State guys. And then Stimler, who I thought was Steiner there for a second, is their leading tackler. So it gives you an idea. They've got Ohio after this, Bowling Green, Buffalo, Miami, all the Maction. And then we've got one more game with South Alabama. I'm sorry, that was going backwards. They have, I don't know who they have next, actually. But it doesn't matter because we're here to talk about this particular game this evening. Hello, there I am. I don't know why I did that. WT says, I enjoyed seeing the Ball State guys give their input on the content. It's good to see they're enthused about their team. Yeah, they're very energized about it, and it's good to see that someone is passionate about even the mid-majors, if you call them that, types of teams. How many running backs do we see this weekend since Damari is out? So let's do that. Greg gives us a good opportunity. We're about to move officially into our predictions time. Once again, please save your predictions for the score till the end. Don't move ahead of what I'm asking. Try to listen to exactly what I'm asking. But we want to make sure that we're keeping this succinct because I'm trying to kind of keep an idea of what you guys are saying and maybe kind of come up with an average of all this. So make sure that you are following exactly what I'm asking for. But this is a good one to warm up with. And we actually might try a cool little element here in a little bit if people can behave themselves. Everybody right now, I want you to answer this question. How many running backs do we see this weekend since Damari is out? Right now, type a number. This is just a practice round. Greg gives us a good opportunity for that. How many running backs will we see? One is out in Damari. I think you've got Jeremiah getting the start effectively. Darrell. You've got Omar. You've got Justin Jones, who's there. You've got Alvin Henderson. And Christian Barnett, I think is what his last name is. So I think there's going to be maybe, hopefully, a little more than that. So we've got a few predictions already rolling in from everybody. Thank you guys for your participation. This lets us know who to kind of start looking for as well. But it looks like the consensus really is about 3. I'm expecting, I want to see all of them. Want to see every single one of them get in there. I think that would be a great thing. I think he was asking about Auburn. I think that's what he was mainly asking about. So that was just what we were going with, the way it was written on that particular one. All right, we're going to try a little element. I don't know how I'm going to like this. I've never tried it before. It's something available to me on my my screen here. Let's pull this up. Uh-oh, is it showing? Did it come up? Is it even there? What's going on? Why is it not there? Y'all see that down in the corner? It's supposed to be what does that do? Oh no, let me pull that back out. It's supposed to show y'all's comments, and I don't know why it is not allowing that. Oop, there we go. There we go. That's starting to come up right now. So there you go. Now it's going to show y'all's comments on screen here while we do this. So please behave yourselves. If you abuse this privilege, I will remove it, but you can actually see yourselves participating now. Yeah, I was wondering, this is the first time I've ever used this element. Like I said, I was debating whether to bring Neil. Come on. See, Neil's going to ruin it for the whole group. You had to do it, Neil. You couldn't behave yourself. From this point forward, you get one. That's it. So I'm letting you guys have a chance at this particular one here. Yes, thoughts on the new chat box so far? Neil almost ruined it. All right, let's let it run for a little bit and see how this goes right here. Now, obviously we've got a lot to roll through here. Do we get a free one? No, please no, please, come on, guys. Neil's just gonna always be that rogue one that we just have to like. He adopts the policy of ask for forgiveness, not permission. And so he just got to it first. All right. So we're going to go through each of these different categories. I'd love to hear your perspectives on it and try to stay with us the entire way if you can. If you have to leave early and you just want to share your score prediction before you leave, that's fine. Just let us know that you're leaving. No, Neil, I'm going to mute you. I'm going to mute you completely, sir. I had a feeling you were going to be the problem on this one. Boy, this is going to be dangerous. Let me pull up my questions. Where did they go, actually? I've moved everything around. All right, here we go. We're ready to roll on this one. So we're going to go offense, defense, special teams, and we'll end with our final score prediction. Let's start with offense. This is your first one. You knew it from last week. I want you to predict for me now how many passing yards and touchdowns Auburn will have versus Ball State this weekend. How many passing yards and how many passing touchdowns will Auburn have on Ball State this weekend? What do you got? Yes, censorship is crazy over here, but it's my space, so I get to censor the heck out of you if I want to. It's so funny how many people who actually complain about those types of things, they're not getting censored. You have the right and the privilege to create your own space to do those types of things. Anyway, I digress. All right, Thomas. We got a 307 and 4 passing touchdowns. Yeah, these are just passing touchdowns. Keep that in mind. 230. So it may be redundant for me to bring it up here, but we'll keep doing it. I said I was just going to try the element tonight. 220 and 3, 380 and 5. Hunter is like the most bullish on it right now. Ron, we're not taking score predictions right now. Try to keep it to yourself until the end. We're just rolling through the different sides of this. And keep in mind, too, sometimes when you're watching live, you may be a little bit behind in the chat. You may have to refresh a little bit too. 253 and 3 touchdowns. Anybody else want to predict how many passing yards? This is across all quarterbacks. This is just we're really thinking about team stats here. Everybody has called for it. Everybody's been worrying all week. What's wrong with the passing game? Why didn't we pass more? You take what they give you. So the reality is, if you look at Ball State, and based off of our conversations with the Ball State guys at Ball State of the Union, it's not looking good for them in this respect. Felix, a little bit late, but 152 touchdowns. Micah, I did not see yours on here. Oh, well, I saw yours, because that's why it was so ridiculous. I didn't even think you were being serious on that. I do just pass over them sometimes. So I think we all recognize we're going to do better than about 100, 108. What was it last time? I should have had that pulled up ready to go for me to reference. Last game, we had 108 yards. So I'm going to say we double that at bare minimum. The reality is we heard from Coach Freeze today that we're going to use Deuce Knight in the number 2 slot. We're going to utilize Ashton Daniels only if we have to, because apparently he's got some eligibility, and they've already talked with him about retaining him for another year, which is an outstanding move. If it works out, everybody stays for the year. Outstanding move. So you're going to have likely 2 quarterbacks, maybe a third further down the depth chart that's going to get to play. So I suspect there will be at least close to 200 with Jackson. I'm going to guess Deuce gets close to 100 as well. And I got to feel they're going to let somebody else throw just a little bit. So I think 300 is an easy guess on this one. I'm going to say 310 and 3 passing touchdowns in this game. I think 2 will come from Jackson Arnold. I think 1 will come from Deuce. I don't know that anybody else is going to do that. So I'm just going to throw that out there. And that's more wishful thinking, because I think a lot of our fan base who couldn't handle the fact that, hey, you take what they give you, they just need to see the passing game to confirm their biases about this. So that's probably what's going to happen here. Auburn didn't have to pass because Baylor couldn't stop the run. Absolutely. I don't think we aired out because we don't have to. In this one too, Greg, and that's very likely, and I'm down for that. If we are just gashing them with the run, why would you run the risk of that? Now, you want to get some reps, you want to get some opportunities, but there's 2 ways you can play this, right? You can play this, we're going to put on, and Hunter, we had a conversation, I think, on either last night on Auburn Family Night or today or some point on the TikTok streams. There's 2 strategies here. Put more on tape for people to see, or just leave it up to chance, or not chance, but the guesswork of what they need to prepare for. If Ball State is dumb enough to run cover 2 the entire game, do we just run on them like we did on Baylor? That could be the way that you do that as well. All right. Your next prediction in the offense category is how many rushing yards and how many rushing touchdowns will Auburn have versus Ball State? This is offense. Keep that in mind. How many rushing yards will Auburn have over Ball State, and touchdowns? Need both of those, rushing yards and touchdowns. What have we got? Can y'all really even see that particular chat? Like, can y'all read it pretty well? I don't know that I can. Can I make it larger? Maybe. No, it's not. Okay. This is just a test run at this. I didn't really know how this was going to go, what we're going to be able to utilize it as. And it's a beta thing on here too. So it's I highlighted it on my screen too. I can't read it, or you can read it just fine. Good to know. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. We got 380 and 4 touchdowns, 210 and 3 touchdowns, 350 and 4 touchdowns. Robert's got 220 and 4, 250 and 4. Anything else? I can't read it either way. Is that a blind Joe Dalton? Or is it what are we dealing with there? I feel like I'm missing something there. Felix says 175-3. I think we'll run the ball well. I just don't think it will be as much as it was last week, because I think there is a need to get a few more reps there and let people see that a little bit more. I think we'll get 200 yards rushing, but I don't know that it'll be much more than that. So I'm going to say 205 and 2 rushing touchdowns, which would put us. I'll say 3. I'll say 3 rushing touchdowns. I think Jeremiah gets 1. I think Darrell probably is going to get 1 to get him that kind of feel of getting the touchdown, get that rep in, that muscle memory, and one of the. Either Alvin, Omar, Justin Jones. I'd love to see Justin Jones get one, somebody who's in the depth chart that's not going to get a lot of that time post these 2 games right here. So I would really like to see those guys probably get those touchdowns. So I'll say 3 rushing touchdowns, 205, which if you do the math correctly for me, that's about what I said, 310 and 205. So that would be 515, 6 touchdowns in the game, which would equate to about math, Kyle. 42 points right there. So I already got 42 points on the board. Will I keep it? I don't know, but we'll see. 205 seems very conservative considering the competition. Yeah, and I guess where I'm thinking on that, Neil, is we're going to be airing it out a little bit at the beginning and then letting some of the other guys in, some of the other offensive line, and you may not see just a little bit, a little not as potent of a run attack once the backups are playing against even their starters. At least that's what I anticipate it being. All right, your next one is going to be, how many sacks will Auburn allow on its quarterbacks? Likely going to see quarterbacks. How many sacks? So don't just think about this as the number ones going against Ball State here. They only gave up one, the starters, last week, which was, can we just give them a round of applause? Literally a round of applause, because outstanding. So that means Deuce is going to be in there. That means that somebody else might be in there down the line. How many sacks will Auburn give up? The simulation, I think, had 0 sacks for Auburn. My guess is that Deuce is going to run into a sack situation because he, is young, and he's going to probably make a few mistakes, get the headlights look a little bit. So I'm expecting 1 sack at least. If another quarterback plays, I would expect another one, but I'm not sure that's going to happen yet. So we got 1, 0, 0. We got 2 from Felix, 0. To kind of what I was saying, Greg, right? Not necessarily on the quarterbacks. Maybe they gave them enough time and held it too long, or ran into a situation it didn't need to be, read the play wrong, something like that. What else? Anything else? 2 for Auburn, just a few O-line mistakes, maybe underestimating some. Potentially, yeah. I mean, I think it would not shock me to see 0, but it also wouldn't shock me to see 2, because of that's the thing about these types of games. Everybody thinks it's going to be very simple. Auburn rolls and every stat's going to look great. Not necessarily, because you're playing hopefully playing a bunch of other people in your depth chart that don't get to the reps and aren't as crisp, aren't as fluid, things like that. All right. On offense still, your next prediction I need from you: how many turnovers will Auburn have on offense? None last week. So the precedent has been set. Now, there was a really close one. The other fumble was clearly not a fumble. Thankfully, they went to review it and overturn it. So Jackson was in a tough situation there trying to make a play. Thankfully, they did not pick it up. But how many turnovers at home? Got a lot of zeros coming through already. The standard has been set, and it looks like everybody is maintaining that thus far. I'm more with Micah, whether it's Deuce, somebody past Deuce, if Ashton doesn't play, meaning they're still trying to reserve his red shirt for something. I think it's more prone, throw an interception, fumble the ball, trying to do too much. Maybe. I don't know. Any more than one, and I'm going to head to the top. Whoa. Don't do that. You can't get to the top of Haley anymore, by the way, just so you know, because I forgot about that. Went up there to try to get some shots of the construction for the north end zone earlier in the spring, and then I forgot that they block it off at a certain height these days, just in case you didn't know that. All right. Who is going to be the top rusher in this game? I told y'all last week, I needed one name from you guys. Who is the top rusher for Auburn in this game? Last week, I told you this one tends to get a little bit boring at times. I think what you saw last week, it could be any one of them. Jackson Arnold. It could be, when he's healthy, Damari Alston. It could be Jeremiah Cobb. And it could be someone else, because this is that type of game where someone goes off. I'm going to say this, kind of like with Hunter's prediction right here. If it's not Jeremiah or Darrell, if the leading rusher is Alvin, Omar, Justin Jones, anybody else in the running back, Christian Burnett, yes, then the running stats are just off the charts in my mind, because that meant that they did a lot in their opportunities to play. But we got to Arnold prediction, Cobb. That's the easy one, but it may end up being correct. Breakout for Cobb, Greg says. I don't think Jackson Arnold will have to scramble as much this game, but he may want to. And I think that's fine, but he needs to make wise decisions in what he's doing, I would say. No sense in getting popped real hard and hurting something in a game like this. But let your players play, let them make mistakes. I'm going to say I'm going to predict one of the young guys. I'm going to say Omar Mapson, only because that kid, the story is really cool. Hometown kid, a lot of hype during fall camp. If you're the coaches, you really plus the evening for people if they get to watch him go off. I think Jeremiah Cobb will probably end up close to 100 yards by the end of this thing before he's pulled. But I wonder if Omar in garbage time is going to go off and thus blast past my rushing yard predictions in this particular one. It says Omar's legit. People are going to find out soon enough. And maybe this is the game. All right, your next one. Only 2 more in the offense category. Who is the top receiver in this game? So whatever that means to you, most people think in terms of receiving yards. So if you want to think about that as the default qualification, who is going to be the top receiver for Auburn offense in this game versus Ball State? Lots of options. Lots of options in terms of people on the bench as well. People who've not played as much. Cam Coleman. Eric Singleton. Eric Singleton's been nursing some stuff, but he did well last game, so I would have no reason to think anything wrong there. Malcolm Simmons. Perry Thompson. Sam Turner. Horatio Fields. Who do we got? What do we think? We got a Coleman. Cam Coleman. Coleman, Singleton, Simmons. Cam Coleman in yards and touchdowns. Bryce Kane in receptions, breaking it out a little bit further. So a lot of different options there. We got a little shout out for Bryce Kane there, but Simmons, Coleman, Singleton all came up. I'm going Horatio Fields. Y'all are still downplaying this connection that he and Jackson have. I think leading receiver in this game by a slim margin, Horatio Fields. And what do I mean by that? I think Horatio is going to be that guy he dumps down to a lot, but is going to have one big play when everybody is, once again, worrying about Eric and Cam and maybe Malcolm too. If in that 4 wide receiver set, Horatio Fields is going to be your leading wide receiver. Calling for a breakout game for Bryce. Bookmark the comments. Thankfully, this is a comment in the live stream now. We're never going to let you live that one down. All right, your final prediction for offense. What will be Auburn's third down percentage? Once again, remember, just because we're playing a rinky-dink opponent doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. It might be, but you're hopefully playing a ton of players that don't get the chance to play and will be making more mistakes. What is our third down percentage on offense in this game? I suspect it will be very high. Most people probably expect it to be very high, more than 50. Corey thinks there will be multiple big plays in this matchup. I think for the sheer magnitude of the energy in that stadium, we need to see that just so that there's several crowd pops. 75%, 68, a very specific 68, 80 and 90, 85, 50% or better. Come on, you got to commit to something, Greg. Are you just saying it better be 50% or better? I like that 75 pick. That feels like the safest and most likely picks there. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that we are efficient on third down until the third quarter, 100% until the third quarter. And we don't have to punt until the third quarter. So, I'll take that back. We go for it on fourth and, in the red zone, at 4th and 1, 4th and 2 in the red zone once. So I guess technically that wouldn't count towards your third down percentage, but you get my point. It's going to be real good. I'll say 80%. I like 80 on that one. Oh, my goodness. That's an interesting one there. All right, we've done offense. Let's do defense. How we started off the offense is how we start off the defense. Here's your next prediction in this one. How many passing yards and touchdowns will Ball State have versus Auburn's defense? Once while you're thinking about it, I will remind you, passing yards last game, a whopping 87. Kelly threw for 87. He was 10 of 16, so didn't throw a whole lot. 62.5%, 87 yards. Can they? Question maybe should be, will they break 87? But give me your prediction. Touchdowns and yards, passing yards and passing touchdowns for Ball State in this game. What do we got? We got somebody in the chat that, because he saw he can get his comments online, wants to act up a little bit. It looks like never seen him before. 67 and 0, 120 and 1, 110 and 0, 54, 1 passing, 150 and 1. We got Sam. Good to see you, Sam. He says 67 and 0. I think that they'll get more passing yards than 87, but not by much. I'll say 115. And one passing touchdown in fourth quarter. Something like that. I don't know. Something like that. 147, 0 touchdowns. That secondary has to show me something for me to think otherwise. And I'm not really drastic on that, Corey, but I do lean your way. I think obviously you shouldn't panic about what you saw last week, but you certainly want to see the improvements before you start speculating that it's just going to magically be better. Like they got to put the effort, the body of work out there to prove that and show that, right? Yeah, the talent gap is too wide for them to pass on us, maybe. But I'm thinking even in our depth chart, if they were to keep in their ones with some of that deeper into the depth chart, surely mistakes are going to be made. I'm just going to say 115 and 1 passing touchdown for them in this particular game. Andrew, we've already been through offense. We'll come back to that around. So I'll anything that may be a little bit past where we've been talking about, we'll come back around to that. Still in defense, though, here's your next prediction that I need from you. How many rushing yards and rushing touchdowns will Auburn defense allow Ball State? Or say it the other way, how many rushing yards and rushing touchdowns will Ball State have in this game? For reference, their leading rusher was their quarterback, Kelly. He ran for 63 on 22 attempts, so a 2.9 average, no touchdowns. Ashley is the next one, 10 attempts for 45 yards, so much better, 4.9 per carry. So they had a total of 116 rushing yards. Kelly, you got to think, is going to be their best shot at it. They clearly want to let him run. And I think I remember the guys from Ball State of the Union saying as much. So you got to wonder if something might slip through. He might pull off something, maybe, potentially. But we'll see. What do you guys think? We got 120 and 1, 60 and 1, 67 and 1, 80 and 0, 54 and 1, 80 in garbage time. I think that's really the question for me, Greg. 68 yards and 0 tutties. I think the majority of the yards are in garbage time. Similar to Thomas and Greg. That's really the question for me is what happens when not only just our ones go out, but when our twos go out. What does the game look like? How impressive do we look on the depth chart? It could be. We got Andrew with 90 and 1 touchdown. My gut tells me they're going to get a passing touchdown and a passing and a rushing touchdown in this game in what people call garbage time. But I'm going to step out on a limb here and say no rushing touchdowns, but I am going to say they have a better. I'm going to say they had 116. I'm going to challenge the defense. No more than 110. Don't let them get past it. I'm going to say 110 rushing yards. So that gets me to 1 touchdown total. And what did I say passing? Like 110 as well. So just over 200 total yards for them on the day. That's my prediction. Reddick in a spy for most of the game, for however long he's in there, right? So there you go. There's predictions for rushing and passing for Ball State. Next up, who will be Auburn's top tackler in this game? What is your prediction? Got our first look at how that might shake out for part of the season, at least. Kieran Crawford led the way with a total of 7 tackles. Xavier Atkins at 5. Keldrick Falk, I think, was tied with one other person, if I'm not mistaken, or it could be wrong, but he had 4 total tackles. So a couple familiar players in this game, but who will it be versus Ball State? Lots of players this could be. I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's going to be someone that we traditionally would think about. I don't think it's going to be Kieran unless he just goes off at the time that he's playing, or Keldrick, even though you guys are, some of y'all predicting that. I do think it's going to be a linebacker. I think some of those young linebackers are ready to prove themselves. Some of y'all are talking about them already. Maybe the defensive backs want to kind of show up and show out in the tackling a little bit this week. Could it be one of them? Maybe one of those creeping up safeties. I don't think they're going to get too deep into our second level of our defense all that much. Any other predictions? Not very many predictions came through here. Let's see what some of you guys said. Bryce Dees, Keldrick Falk. Got to commit, Thomas. He says, if Freeze can use or, so can I. Always with the loopholes. We got Crawford. It's going to be the water boy. That's tough. That's tough. All of them. Now y'all not even trying at this point. Did I give a name? I'm going to say Elijah Melendez. I've been really high on him for a long time. I think he fits the bill at such a young age of just a college linebacker. I hope we're talking about him at the end of the game as the leading tackler. I think it'll be pretty close with him and someone maybe like a Kieran Crawford if he does have a great start to the game and however little time that he does play. But there's your predictions for top tackler. And for defense, your next one, 2 more left. So this is a difficult one. So try to keep it exactly how I'm asking it so that we know, because you can just do 3 numbers together in the same comment. I want to know how many sacks, fumbles that are recovered fumbles, and interceptions there are for Auburn's defense. How many sacks will Auburn's defense get? How many fumbles recovered will Auburn's defense get? And how many interceptions in this game? How many will they have? Yeah, slashes work really great. Thank you, Matt. That makes it very easy. Periods work as well. If you put it like all together in a 3-digit word, that's going to make it a little difficult. A lot of weird dates popping up here. It's a bad joke. Here are a couple of predictions rolling in. 3, 3, and 6. 6 interceptions? Whew. 4, 2, and 0. 4, 1, and 0. 6, 1, and 1. A lot of sacks. I'm seeing 6, 2, and 3. 4, 1, and 2. 3, 1, and 0. 5 sacks, no fumbles, and no interceptions. Sam, explain yourself. None? Not a single fumble when they come up against our talent and get smashed? Somebody doesn't fumble? There's a 5-2-1. Oh, that makes it difficult. But 4-0-2, we'll take it, whatever we can get, though. Thank you, Brody. Man, I'm surprised at that one, Sam. I think sacks are going to be pretty high in this game. The only question in that is with clearly them relying on the legs of Kelly, their quarterback. You wonder, will he be elusive enough to keep away from some of those sacks? I think we had like 4 in the simulation. I'm going to go 5. I'll go 5 sacks. Alan, you may be a little bit behind the chat, so you may need to refresh a little bit. Oh, no, you're caught up now, it looks like, because you gave the leading tackler like back-to-back after that. We're good. So I said 5 sacks. I'm going to say 1 fumble recovery. I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm going to say no interception. So I'll go 5-1-0. Did anybody else predict that one? We got 5-0-0. 5-1-0. Nope. Looks like that's a unique one right there. 2 sacks on their first drive of the game. Would not surprise me, Hunter. Imagine how loud it's going to be. Everybody's excited. Everybody's ready. All the pyrotechnics are going off. Just, yeah, outstanding. You heard they have good ball security, 0 turnovers last game. I don't have that stat in front of me, but let me see if I can get it real quick and confirm. Let's do more than hear about it. Ball State versus Purdue. 31-0 versus Purdue. Box score. Give me 1 second. No, I want box score. I want team stats. Turnovers. Yeah, you're correct. 0 turnovers. Well done, Sam. Maybe they do have good ball security. Maybe it's one of the things they do well. It could be. It could be. All right, your last thing in defense. We're making good time tonight, folks. How many defensive touchdowns, if any? So just give me a number, 0 to whatever. How many defensive touchdowns in this game? Obviously, that requires you having predicted a fumble or an interception. So you might want to think about that. What do you got? 0, 1, 0, 0, 2 from Matt. One of each. 1 defensive touchdown and 1 special. I knew that. Oh, you're skipping ahead, Greg. You're skipping ahead. Don't skip ahead. I knew someone was going to do it because they got excited. Greg, just the guinea pig I get to pick on. All right. So pretty good average here. It looks like some people, I mean, the average is brought up by Matt, who he says he has a lot of faith in that prediction. I'm leaning towards thinking there's going to be one, which would make that the 7th touchdown of the game. I am seriously leaning towards there being one of that, a defensive touchdown, willing to sacrifice one of the passing touchdowns to achieve that per my score prediction. Well, keep in mind, you can change based off of how many touchdowns you predicted in this. I'm not going to hold you to that, but this is why we go through these discussions the way we do, because it makes you think about this. Does the score that I'm thinking of in my head match up with what I think I know about both teams? So this is a good exercise in that. A late pick by Ball State, which is not a state. Or a late pick by like them throwing a pick. Okay. Yeah, I'll say 1, and I'm going to say it's a fumble recovery for a touchdown. It'll match up with what I predicted. So I'm going to keep those lined up. All right. So that's offense, defense. Just really quickly here. Special teams. How many times will Auburn Hudson Cack? That's for you, WT. How many times will he punt in this game? I think we punted. Should have that pulled up already. My bad. Let's see if I can get to it. How many punts will Hudson have in this game? Once again, 98% chance that Auburn wins. If you weren't aware of that on ESPN. Statistics, Baylor. I forget how many punts we had. Team stats. What do we got? We got predictions coming in. Oh, it doesn't show it on this ESPN stat sheet, but let's see what you guys say. Wow. Oh, wait. I think they got combined with the other ones. I'm going to go back through some of these. Just show y'all's predictions for a little bit because I'm not sure. There we go. 1. So let's start here with this one. 1 punt, 3, 2, 1, 0. We literally just counted down. Did y'all plan that out? 2, 1, 4. I think we're going to have to punt a lot punted once in Baylor. Thank you, Corey. I think we're going to have to punt a lot in the second half. I'm going to predict at least 3. I don't think we will punt until at the very least late in the second half. If that. Garbage time punts, running clock. Yeah. Running clock is a good point. It's a good point in that one. Hudson Cack. That is our leading punter. You're not going to let that one go, are you? All right. Special teams continuing on. Almost done here. Field goal time. How many field goals attempted and made? So 2/3, 3/3, 1/1, 0/0. How many field goals attempted and made? How many field goals attempted and made And you don't need to predict this. I just want your number. Multiple kickers? I think so. Especially, I don't know how Alex is doing this week. I don't think there's been any commentary on it. But you could have quite a few if you're trying to get some people in there. We got 0, 1 of 1, 3 of 3, 2 of 2, 3 of 3s, another 0. Absolutely none. No reason to stall out. There is no reason to stall out, Thomas, but that doesn't mean it'll happen. 2 of 2, 1 of 1. So pretty good. Probably averages out to about 1.5 based off all of that, based off what people were saying. I'm going to predict 2 will be attempted, 1 by Alex, which will be made, and 1 which will be made by or attempted by someone else, either Towns or I think his name is Gibbs, if I'm not mistaken, who was brought in from Southern Miss, and that will be a miss. 1 of 2 in this games. That's going to be. I hope it is Towns that gets to make some, but I'm just going to say 1 of 2 right now is just what my gut is telling me for some odd reason. But what a great performance by Alex, what he's all been through and going through still and in the game. I know they weren't the most difficult situations to find himself in. Pretty straight down the middle, very easy yardage wise, but man, what a champ overcoming that. All right, here's the big one. Somebody already jumped ahead of us. Any punt returns or kick returns for touchdowns. So you can say it however you like. 0, 1, but it's a punt return. 1, it's a kick return. 1 of each. What do we got? What do you got? How many punt returns or kick returns? And let me know. 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. Whoop, 0. Some more zeros. Malcolm Simmons will house a punt Saturday. I like that prediction. I would love to see that. Punt return tutty. There's another punt return. 1, why not? Mr. Pleasant. It would be pleasant to see it again, wouldn't it? Now, listen, if Rayshon Pleasant takes one back to the house again, he better be the front runner for the rest of the season for that, the special teams award watch list that he is part of. Let's just be honest. I think the likelihood of it happening this week, just because it happened last week, I think is lower. But if you're going to do it 2 weeks in a row, this is the team you probably want to do it against. And from what I remember, special teams was a little bit of a worry from the Ball State of the Union guys. I know their kicking situation had a bit of a drama with it, but I think they had some issues as well with that too. Your final prediction tonight, before score prediction. So hold the score predictions. I know y'all are excited to be there. We're going to get right there on time. What are the number of penalties and penalty yards that Auburn's I'm sorry, let me back up. The number of penalties and yards Auburn will have against them, period. So this is that special teams miscellaneous group that we're doing. How many penalties and yards will Auburn have against it in this game? Let me see if I can get you a reference point from the last game. Lots of penalties. Lots of people were frustrated with that. Auburn had 9 for 83 yards. It's an odd 83. I guess that was for a pass interference spotted foul thing. What is it looking like? Well, there's some great effort. No idea. 4 penalties, 30 yards, 5 for 35, 3 for 5 for there's 3 for 40, 560. 5 penalties for 60 yards. Is that what we're going with, Braylon Womack's burner? 6 flags for 50 yards, 35, 2, very specific right there. 4 for 40. I think there's going to be a lot of false starts in the second half. I'm going to say a lot, maybe like 3. So there's 15 yards right there. I got to think there's going to be at least 1 from the normal guys just because it's still early in the season, being hyped up. I think there will probably be 2 pass interferences. So I'm already at 6. I'm going to say 7 penalties for 65 yards. I think it'll be the thing that people are once again talking about in our post-game show. It was an improvement, but it wasn't that much. But it could be mostly the backups doing it, right? And then you kind of have to just go, it's not what I wanted, but it is what it is. All right. We have done it, folks. We have made it through offense. We have made it through defense, right on the 55-minute mark. Made it through special teams and miscellaneous. Now is the time for you to lock your score predictions right now. They're going to roll up here on the screen right here. I will bring them up as well for posterity. Lock it in right now. What are you predicting the score? Doesn't have to match up completely with what your predictions for touchdowns and yards and all that stuff was. You can change it, but that's why we go through this exercise. Lock your predictions in right now. Auburn Ball State 2025 matchup. 40. I think the line currently, if you care about such things, is 43. Yeah, 98% chance that Auburn wins on ESPN's predictor thing. All of those things. We've gone through every element that you need to think about on this game. What do we got here? 56-7. Pretty decent. 42-14. A little bit closer, Neil, but still substantial enough. 63-3. 63-17. 66-10. A lot of 60s are popping up here. Close to 60. 59-13. 63-13. 52-10. If you have not put in your score prediction yet, lock it in now. Let's see it. So I predicted 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns for us, and a defensive touchdown for us. So that's 7 for 42 points. I like that 42 points. I probably am leaving out something else. So I'm going to go 48 points. 48-10. Auburn wins 48-10. I think I'll probably it'll get surpassed, but I'll stick with 48-10. We get out to a quick start, maybe 30-0 in the first half, and 1 series for the starters in the second half. And then the rest of the time, it's just letting them do what they need to do there. So I'm going to say that. Did we get everybody's in? We got a 53-3. I think these came in a little bit on the back end there, but I think we've gotten everybody's for the most part now. Once I said it, I was like, didn't someone just say that? So 48. Did I say we said it exactly? 48-10, right? No, what did you say, Neil? Let me go back up here to the top. 42-14. So we differ a little bit, maybe closer overall for you, but essentially we are saying in the same ballpark in terms of points right there. Chris. All right. Oh, the over-under is now 52. Well, a couple of us are way off from that. All right. Keep some comments and questions going here. We got a few minutes we can spend together to wrap up tonight. But let me give you the rundown of what's coming up this weekend. I am leaving for Auburn tomorrow, hopefully morning. Can't guarantee that. So first thing, if you're in the Conquer Club, first of all, if you don't know what the Conquer Club is, it's our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/E2C Network. It gets you access to some special perks. It's our primary fan support system. You get access to our Discord. It's probably the primary bulk thing there, but some other things as well. If you go to the $5 tier, which is called the Eagle tier, I'll be giving some exclusive, just special looks at stuff while I'm out and about, things like that. So those of you that are already there, many of you, you know what to do. But just if you're interested in joining it, $1 a month gets you in the door. You can hang out with some cool Auburn people that are here. Many of them are here right now. That's one thing you can do. Here are our current tentative schedule of events. All kinds of posts throughout the weekend on social media. Maybe some surprise live streams. I never know, on different formats. That's why you got to be following every social media account. But the plans right now are live streaming Tiger Walk. Always subject to connectivity / any surprises Auburn throws my way in terms of where and how I'm able to film / do they put people in front of us inside the gates. That will be very frustrating, but I've got a apparatus I can use to get above most people's headline or sight line. But Tiger Walk live recording, join us for that. We'll all try to also record a separate version of it to put up later on other formats, but that'll be exclusively on YouTube. We will have a post-game show. Obviously, you need to be looking for that. Don't know exactly when it'll take place. It will be late, but we hope to see you there. Just as always, please exercise patience, especially with this being a hopeful win. And at Tumors Corner, it'll be a while after the game before it gets going. I'll try to update as much as I can, especially those of you that are in the Conquer Club. The Auburn Experience Show, episode 141, will be going live in fact, I probably need to, let me do something real quick, pull this down for a little bit so that y'all can see all these things. I don't know what comments are going up there. That'll be at the normal time, 9 Eastern time, 8 Central. There may be some opportunities there for us to, move that around a little bit if there's some challenges. I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit here. We are getting an addition to our family, not in me and my wife's sense, but to our family this weekend, hoping, praying for all that to go well. So prayers are appreciated for brother and sister-in-law. So I will be visiting her for the first time that day. So there may be some changes that have to happen there, but we're planning to go at 9 Eastern time. And that should be it right there. And as always, we want to encourage you to shop with Alumni Hall if you haven't before. Links in the description. We're an affiliate of theirs. This is just like when we encourage you to shop with Barner Brand. If you shop there through our link, you support them and support us. Alumni Hall, they got the ultimate Tiger shopping experience. Get your gear there today. All right. What do we got here? What's in that? Thomas with the super chat. Kyle has the best backdrop of any AU channel. Well, thank you. You like it? I hate this over here. This is, I'm already thinking about adding another one of these bookshelves over here. I don't know with the way the wall's set up over here, it'll work as much, but it's something I'm thinking about. But thank you for the super chat, Thomas. Robert, see you on the plains. Hope to see anybody there. Please come up and say hello. Will the post-game show be before or after Taco Bell? I don't anticipate being able to get my victory Taco Bell that night. It'll probably be the day after. I'm going to be attending the soccer game most likely that day too, on Sunday. So I'm anticipating going to get that Taco Bell right before the soccer game. So you might see me over there. You might not, or maybe I'll be at a different one. I don't know. Who attempts more passes? Here's a good question for everybody. Arnold or Deuce? Could be any bunch of different answers there. What do we got? Don't forget your Uber sign. Oh my goodness. I think we score twice in the second half and play mostly in second and third stringers. Stan, I don't know which one we missed there, buddy, but if we missed it, I'm sorry. It happens in here. It's a lot to keep up with. Alan says, do we score a lot? Keeping scores away from this season. Keeping scores away for this season as far as predictions. War Eagle, E2C, see everyone there, I'm sure he was saying. Yes, please, if those of you that believe in the power of prayer, just, for a smooth day, tomorrow is what it is. I'm not going to air their complete business, their names and all that stuff, because I don't know that I have permission, but I'm pretty proud, soon to be uncle. So please do put up some prayers tonight for them, for everything to go well tomorrow and this weekend. The table throws off the look. Yeah, I think so as well. It's not even a table. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a lot of things. So it's something that I'm. More like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Something that I'm toying with. The tiger with the AU hat is awesome. There you go. Get a blue bulb and it'll blend in. I've thought about that too, but since I've been thinking about doing some other things over there, I haven't really, invested in that. I've got my Cam Coleman jersey today, and I'm going to apologize in advance for what I've done. Yes, we are blaming you, Unbeaten Lake, if something bad happens to that man. You have now put that mojo on you. Put it on a Spider-Man and put it in the background. I don't know about that one. Can I get a Tiger thermos? Sure. I'm missing the context here, Brody, but I don't have one in the background, do I? No? I don't think I do. Anyway, appreciate the love for the background. It's good to know that y'all like it. I acknowledge what was said over here. This kind of looks a little bit weird, but it's the best we got at this point, and always exploring. I know this isn't part of the preview and predictions part of things, but since we're talking about it in this last bit, I've finally got my office set up in a way that I think it's going to, at least the bones of it's going to stay for a long time now. Minor changes here and there. That'll probably be one of them. So if y'all like the idea of putting another one of these, spreading things out a little bit and putting those there. The problem is you have to be careful with lighting and stuff, what you put on these bookshelves, because there's a light over here that'll cast shadows on that. But anyway, y'all don't care about that. All right. Thank y'all so much for being here this evening. Good show once again. Thank you for the participation. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Get ready. Follow, subscribe everywhere on social media. We have got a busy weekend ahead of us. Not just football. We've got volleyball. We've got soccer. We've got home at the corner. We've got all kinds of atmosphere stuff coming your way for all kinds of good Auburn stuff on the first home game weekend of the year. Appreciate you all for being here and hanging out with us until we talk to you again. War Eagle.